Hello, everybody, and welcome to Late Night Live number 138. My apologies, we're a little bit behind schedule today. I would love to blame it on a technical issue, but I just bit off more than I could chew before 9 p.m. For those of you who aren't aware, I've been in the process of redoing this shelving unit I know it's only a desk right now, a shelving unit that goes behind me. You may or may not be able to tell, this is the new desktop. Probably not noticeable in that tiny little screen, but this is the new desktop here today. I put it here a couple days ago, and the shelves are currently being clear coated so that then I can build the shelving unit. And at around 8 o'clock, I thought, oh yeah, I can totally do one more coat of clear coat on these shelves and get done and get everything ready before 9 o'clock stream, no problem. I was mistaken. So by the time I finished the shelves or finished the coats of clear coat, it was basically time to go, and I wasn't ready, so I had to really quickly dive into my computer and get all my stuff going. But yes, new desktop. Yes, I'm very excited. It looks, very similar to the last one. I like the color of the stain better. But the biggest thing about it is that it is flat, which is all kinds of awesome. It is flat and smooth and ready for the rest of the shelves. So I'm very excited. And then I'm going out of town in a few days for a little bit, so I'm trying to get as much done as I possibly can before I leave town. I don't know if I'll get it built. I won't get it built by the time I leave, but I want to be able to come home and basically just build it, so it's taking up a good chunk of my time. We are writing with white ink today on black paper. What's going on, Skeet? How you doing? And polished and assembled. Nice to see you as well. Yeah, I was inspired by Eric, Practice Makes Penman, posted an alphabet today on Instagram that looked really nice, and it was white ink on black paper, so I was inspired. Oh, what is going on here? Did my camera move? You should be able to see my glide sheet in the bottom here. Sorry. We are unorganized today. Why isn't it? It should be in the same place it was last time. Yeah, it's a work trip. I gotta go this way. That's what we want. Can I get this to hold in the right spot? Now, how low do I want that? Maybe about there. Should be good. I don't know why that moved. Strange. We will be away from live streams, yes, for a couple of weeks. Because I will be gone for a week. And then, new news. For me in the stream, I will be attending IAMPET this year. I wasn't going to be able to attend because of work, but the event that I was supposed to be running that week in another city ended up unfortunately getting canceled. Ghostly? What's ghostly? Get warmed up really quick here. Hello, Shaq. Something's moving in my... Oh, my camera. Yeah, my camera repositioned itself on its own. Or maybe it's just in the mount slightly different. I'm not sure why. It should be the same all the time, but for some reason, it wasn't today. So yes, maybe there is a little ghosty in here. Or I could have bumped it, I guess. I was moving the whole desk unit around. That board is the exact width of my living room, so things have to be moved around in such a way. It's not the easiest thing to maneuver, and it's heavy. Today we are using a Leonard Principle EF. It has been slightly sharpened, not a lot, basically just had the tip tuned a little bit after some writing sessions. It wasn't giving me quite as good of a hairline as I wanted from it. So I tuned up the tip ever so slightly. Yeah, I'm stoked that I get to attend IAMPETH. Obviously disappointed that my event got canceled. I gotta spend money instead of make money. That's okay. I haven't missed an IAMPETH since my first one in 2014, I guess. So excited to keep my streak going. Today, I feel like I just want to play with some letter combinations. Try to get creative with some signature stuff. I know last stream we focused very hard on just a couple letter forms. Today I want to see if I can have a little bit more of a playtime and get some creative signature designs or signature writing going. Oh, my camera is left-handed. Wait, that's no good. Why'd that happen? Give me a sec. I'm not supposed to be left-handed. Oh, this setup. What do we gotta do here? This, I think. There. Should be... That's the way it's supposed to be. It's also supposed to be up here. Sorry. There we go. That's, I think, what it's supposed to be. I am not left-handed. I wish I could write left-handed. I did it for a bit, but not to any great degree. I used to write left-handed. I just couldn't. Never got to the point where I could do actual ornamental penmanship and whatnot. But I used to do a lot of mirrored left-handed writing. I did regular left-handed writing for a bit as well at one point. Coolest thing I ever did in that realm was writing backwards with my left hand, so mirrored. But then I wrote upside down with my right hand. That was quite fun. Which was neat. That was a fun little exercise in brain thinking. You don't know the story of my penmanship journey? Well, it is one of adventure and despair. No. My penmanship journey was pretty chill. I wanted to improve my handwriting, so I Googled how to improve your handwriting, basically, and found a Palmer Method book on the IAMPIT website, actually. Whoops. In the rare book section of their website. And I studied very, very casually for quite a while. I didn't really do a lot of the drills and that kind of stuff. I just did what most amateur people do when they get a handwriting book or a PDF. I looked at it, and then I basically just tried to replicate what the writing was. I didn't go through any of the drills or lessons or anything like that, because I would handwrite a lot. I would write a lot of correspondence. Correspondence is pretty much what got me into penmanship. I liked the idea of writing letters, so I started writing letters to friends and whatnot. And then I wanted to improve my writing, so I started researching how to improve my writing. And then that's when I found the IAMPIT website, started studying a little bit, and then got a little bit better. All with fountain pen at the time. It's funny that I'm writing Palmer Method here, and this is definitely not Palmer Method style. But that's okay. Then on the IAMPIT website, I discovered Spencerian, and I met Michael Saul at the Los Angeles Pen Show, and that's sort of where I always use the quote that was when I discovered my rabbit hole. I slipped and I fell down the Spencerian / ornamental penmanship rabbit hole, and I've been, as I say, happily falling ever since. Oof. My hand feels stressed out today. I don't know that story. Rajiv has a lot of really good stories. Correspondence is amazing. It's ironic because I've gotten woefully bad at correspondence over the years. I have a very large stack of letters that I have to respond to. I write letters anytime I make a blotter or something for somebody, but I've gotten bad at just chill correspondence for the sake of corresponding, which is a horse that I hope to jump back on one of these days. There's been so many things, like the shelf unit and just other things as well in my life that it's maybe a lame excuse saying that they're holding me back from getting caught up on that stuff, but those are the excuses that I'm using. Tonight you are learning the capital B. Which variation of the capital B, if you don't mind my asking? Just a standard like so? Like that? I'm quite a fan of the capital B. Whoops, finger caught. Nice. You say help. Is there a specific part that's giving you trouble? The one with the 2 upper loops. Ah, my go-to. This one. Like so. Ooh, that came out quite nice. What part's giving you the most trouble, would you say? The Z bar. Nice. Oh, I've never thought of that before. That totally is a Z. Hilarious. Interesting. Is it with the shape of that part, or the shade specifically? Maybe that's too specific. Shape, slant, consistency. Gotcha. I would definitely recommend breaking down the letter into 2 steps if it's a mess. Is it a mess when you do it without the double loop? Like if you do just this variation. Is it a mess when you do it that variation versus when you do that one? It's funny, for me personally, I find the double loop, I don't know why, I always feel more in a groove. SMS too. I would say to clean up this one, your probably best course of action, which maybe this isn't what we want to hear, because it's less fun, but the best course of action is probably to work on just this stroke right here. Is it a mess when you do it without a shade? Ooh, clearing out the garage. That's like treasure hunting. That's fun. That's sort of one of the things I'm going to be doing this next week. I've got to take inventory and clean out a storage unit that has been organized year after year, but never like not super organized. So I basically want to empty the whole thing out, clean the whole thing out, and then selectively kind of Tetris things around. That's a mess too. Well, in that case, Shaq, I would recommend just doing this stroke without a shade. And I would get a reference. So if you have something like, oh no, where did my reference alphabets go that I had here? Oh no, I moved things around. One sec, I'll be right back. Where is the stuff I'm looking for? There they are. Okay. 2 signatures that I designed last week for some people. Last week? Week before that? What do we got here? There we go. Just looking for a couple of the reference alphabets. Oh, that's a complicated reference alphabet. This is not the one that I was gonna say to reference. Where the heck? What happened to the ones that I had last week? They should be right here. I didn't move them. Aha! Found him. You know what else is a mess all around? Around my desk. As I'm working on that back bit, I don't have enough places to put things, and this darn plant is taking up all my desk space. I need it to be up on a shelf so that I can have stuff on the desk. Alright. Yeah, I would say grab a reference. My go-to reference that I would usually recommend would be E.A. Lupfer. Ooh, that is bright. E.A. Lupfer's B, but in this instance, H.L. Darner's B is also gorgeous. Or any B reference, but just have that and then have that as a reference so you can keep going back to it, and then just do that shape without a shade until the swing of it feels nice and comfortable. Taking note of certain things like the more horizontal aspect of that first oval, and then making sure the little oval in the middle has space before it goes into the bottom oval, and then transitioning out of that into the big horizontal oval at the end. These references, so these actually, these were found in the Business Educator. If you go on my website, MrMGWard.com, in the archive, there, archive Business Educator, and then there's a PDF of full alphabets from the Business Educator, and they're ordered, there's, I believe, is it thumbnails or like bookmarks for each penman's name as you go through there. And H.L. Darner did this one, but there's hundreds and hundreds of alphabets in that PDF that were printed in the Business Educator. So you can go through there and to find a B that you really, really like if you want. Or if you have one from a favorite book that you have. These ones, they're not white and black cleaned like this. This is actually just one that I really quickly cleaned up and printed just for last week's stream, right before we went live last week. But it's made from the images that are in that PDF on my website. So it's really getting that nice smooth transition. There, those two. So you have that nice shaped little loop in the middle. Depending on your reference, you can decide if you want that little loop to be flat or angled. Different pen kind of did it different ways. I don't really teach that one is correct and one is not correct, though there might be one that's correct and one that's not correct. So. Oh, people move your things. Is this your personal garage, or like a garage, like an apartment garage? Is this your family? Is these the people that are moving your things? Are they gonna get heck now? You have reached enlightenment. Nice. I will say one cool thing about that PDF as well, all the Business Educator alphabets. There are some really not nice PDFs in that not nice PDFs, sorry. There's some really not nice alphabets in that PDF that people obviously thought were good enough to submit and be printed, and I wanted to include those to show people they weren't always perfect. A lot of incredible penmen, not just the famous names, printed and submitted not perfect work. Woohoo! That makes me happy. Yeah, you'll have to download it as it's not currently viewable on my or the. I guess you can go through. There's a page that has all of them in not a PDF form that you can just scroll through if you want, and then you can also download a PDF of the whole thing. That's how a lot of fountain pen people get non-fountain pen people into writing and using pens, Marilyn. They're good at that. Enablers. Uh-oh, that's no good. But I suppose that happens. That is unfortunate. It's a pretty common thing for fountain pen enthusiasts. Have I ever gifted a fountain pen? I don't think I have. Is that bad? I'm not a very good enabler. Stop being so aggressive on my stem strokes. So I get this kink and weird shape in them. Instead of just relaxing through it. E and B. Not very common. E and A was supposed to be, I guess. Oops. Try that again. Sounds good. From send and forth. I don't know what that is. Tell me about send and forth, Marilyn. Enlighten me. Oh, let's get that one be done. You've lost the plot? You just said you gave... Well, if I read your message, I gave Moo Friend Wumble a package from Sendenforth. I'm just saying I don't know what that is. You can't expect me to understand you if you don't make sense. Hello there, good morning to you. Oh, Lurker James in the house. What's going on, Lurker James? Who's got the giggles, apparently. Hey, Jose, how's it going? Good to see you as well. Understood, Marilyn. I think I got the story now. Trying to get in the habit of using that B a little bit more often because I like it. It was interesting, actually. Speaking of autocorrect, not really an autocorrect issue, but I was using an app today that didn't automatically, or for some reason, the automatically capitalizing like the first letter of a sentence, it didn't automatically do that, which I feel like I've gotten so used to the keyboard on my phone just doing that. Anytime you start typing, it starts with a capital. For some reason, typing in this app doesn't capitalize the first letter after a period or first letter of a paragraph or sentence, which was interesting. It made me realize how much I've sort of, I guess, got used to relying on that. It's fascinating. Oh, that makes sense. So you use like a different keyboard app entirely? Or do you use a different keyboard layout? Nice, Marilyn. I mean, that's why I stopped doing French on Duolingo, for example. Because I would use Duolingo trying to use the English keyboard, typing the French things, but then Duolingo at the time completely overrid my phone settings and I couldn't turn it off. So all of a sudden I'd be in Duolingo just typing auto just habitually and hit enter and it would say I was wrong and it was just garbledy-gook because it was all the keys were all in the wrong spots and I wasn't looking close enough. And I couldn't get that. I don't know if that's still an issue, but it definitely was then. So I stopped doing French and that's when I went back to Japanese. Because the Japanese keyboard, I don't have a Japanese keyboard on my phone. It doesn't have that issue. That's what we want. Nice and relaxed, like. I used to use an app called SwiftKey for my keyboard, but then I wanted to use the Google what are they called? Bitmojis. And in order for my phone to use those in other apps, I had to use the Google keyboard. So that's the keyboard I use now. I don't like the default Samsung keyboard. I don't use that one. Ah. Everything was going so nice except for this ugly exit oval. Dang. Yeah, apparently no Oldra Swinny today. She's chilling. Oh, Icelandic. That's fun. Thorn, F, and Yoch. Yep. Totally know what you're talking about with those ones. That's a bummer. This happens quite often, actually. It's an issue that I have to fix. Maybe she had one final top coat to do. She thought she could squeeze one more top coat in before the stream started. It's very possible. It's very possible. That doesn't really work. Because I want this to be like that. How can we do a T and an O? Ask and Spanish. Is ask supposed to be ASL? What language could ask be in the typo world? I have no idea. ASL, it's been... Okay, ASL, it was ASL, alright. Mhm. I'm ruined by the early days of the internet. When I see ASL, I think age, sex, location, which is obviously not what you mean. Didn't give myself enough room. I guess this didn't really have to stop there. That could have just continued all the way through. Oh, yeah. My age slips out relatively often. I mean, earlier, I didn't say it out loud, but when we were talking about making mistakes and autocorrect and stuff, inside my head, I said, oh, I miss the old T9 English days. There was no autocorrecting. You had to press by pressing the buttons multiple times. Good old T9 text language. I was so fast with T9. Ooh, free trial of CompuServe. Well, hello, Fozzie. Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know you could sign. James, that's dope. I wish I could. I should learn one day. Nice to have you here, Fozzie. But then I have no good way to get into the L if I do it that way. I've never signed before, aside from I learned how to do the alphabet when I was younger, and I was pretty good at the alphabet. I mean, not destroying the Technic helicopter sounds like a win. Ooh, not enough space. There's gonna be a way to make this work. In a fun, swoopy way. Okay, what about this? I mean, that looks like an L. Doesn't look like an S. That doesn't work. How the heck can I get a cool ASL design? It's one of those ones where I gotta start at a later letter. What happens if I start with the L? Try not to plan too much. I just kind of put my pen down and see what happens. Finger spelling in ASL. That's dope. I wish I would have done that stuff. No, going backwards isn't gonna work. Thinking, trying to visualize something. He's put some PDFs on, he's put some scrapbooks on archive.org in the past few months. He has. He's dealing with a pretty vast collection. Thank you very much, UA. Welcome to your second stream. Is it you or UA? I don't know how you can type those. Type one out phonetically for me. I'm guessing it's UA? But you let me know. UA. Perfect. Never leave enough space to get a nice... Oh! Unless it's one of those instances. Maybe this calls for a long S, which I never use, but would love to get in the habit of using more often. Oh, heck yeah. I mean, looks pretty good. Apparently he did. Yeah, I think he did. It was while I was out of town, I think. There's a link somewhere in the Discord to his account on archive.org. I'm getting more comfortable with that, eh? I like it more and more all the time. No, because that's an L. That doesn't look like an S. Okay, I want to test something out here. Something I've never done on the stream before. Normally, YouTube chooses when the ads go. I'm going to run an ad, but I'm going to say it. So, in theory, everybody should have an ad run at the same time if I click this button. I don't know how long ads are, or if you don't see ads, then you never saw that, or if the ads are still going. I thought it would tell me when the ad was running or when it's done. Fozzie didn't see an ad. Well, that's awesome, UA. Welcome to your Spencerian journey. I'm trying to decide if I want to make it so those happen automatically, or if periodically throughout a stream, I just click the ad button, and then I'll take like little mini breaks here or there, potentially. Ah, yes, if you have premium, then you might not see the ad. That is true. I don't really know how it all works. I don't have nearly enough views for the ads to really make any money anyway, but fun to run ads. Well, that's kind of there's been times where I've been in the middle of saying something and an ad will happen, and then I'll have people, primarily Ojaswini, will complain that there was an ad, and I think it might pop up and tell me, but I often don't see the little thing that tells me. So I don't know. So I wanted to test out this placing them myself. But I don't know. Yeah. Probably how we'll do it from now on. So long as if I remember to click it. I gotta decide how many I want to do during a stream. I wonder where she is today. I love when things like that happen unintentionally, where my hairline, we never really want the hairline to die, but when it happens to stop equidistant on either side of a stroke so it looks like it was intentional. I like when that happens. Makes me happy. Well, that's not a good way to do that. That gets really busy in there. All the typos tonight. Tell you what, if Ojaswini comes in, the second she gets here, I'm gonna start an ad. Yep, that's what I'm gonna do. It's a good idea. Never really talked about this before, but I feel like this is one of the best exercises for practicing random letter combinations. For those of you who've been here for a lot know, like, I usually just write sort of gibberish words, or we write random words when we're just practicing randomly. Taking words but just capitalizing the first 3 letters of them is super clever, because I don't have to think of like names. I just write a word that I would randomly write anyways, and I just capitalize the first 3 letters. Mano's watching. Pressure's on. Oh, that's not a very nice line. Good night, Miss Marilyn. Thanks for hanging out. We will see you next time. Feels good to write on black paper. This makes me happy. Wonder if I should mix more ink before I amp, or if I have enough for the week. I should probably add to my mixture here, maybe. Oof. Lost my track. Going from I into N. How do we do that? Unless we do our N like this. Nope, I'm not good at that N. Alright. Connecting the eye is always a doozy. How do we connect the eye? Like my brain wants me to go straight into the stem, something like this, but I don't think it'll look good. Yeah, I don't like that. Or we could do something like this, perhaps. Wait. I don't remember. That's not what I was trying to do. That worked, though. That's not what I was trying to accomplish. Your letter I. That letter I is confusing. I had an idea in my head, and now I can't remember what it was, because I feel like it was gonna work. Just do a regular eye. Something like that. And this was doing something like that. That was what I was thinking. I guess either of those ideas could work. Yeah, I was trying to do this one, but starting it from up here, which feels very strange. Could always do something like this as well, I suppose. There were some posts on the Discord today, some envelopes of J's that looked like eyes to my brain. Very, very much. It's very confusing at first. See, then everything is a signature. If you just capitalize the first 3 letters. It's maybe a little too busy in there, but oh, I was supposed to capitalize the W or the R and the I. Whoops. Oh well. I guess I should make something for the Iamphith silent auction. What should I put in the silent auction? Any ideas? I don't have a ton of time to make something crazy. Thank you very much. Will this work? Is the question. Almost. I never like putting dots in signatures. It's interesting. I feel like people live on 2 sides of that debate. People either really love putting the dots always, or they dislike putting the dots. I'm not a fan of the dots. How do you move from drills to forming letters? That's a great question. Me personally, I turn my letters into drills, is sort of how I get into that. So, for example, if we have like if I'm doing oval drills or something like that, whether they're stationary or traveling, if I have a letter that I'm trying to create, because what the drills essentially do, they're teaching us to have fluidity and I guess like muscle memory sort of. So you get used to what this oval feels like. You get used to what cascading traveling ovals feel like, so that those movements can just happen without needing to think about them too much, because the writing happens too fast to think about everything sort of as we're going. So you want as much as you can to sort of fall off or flow off as, I don't like the word habit, but essentially as habit or trained muscle memory. So if there's a specific letter that I want to do, for example, This is actually sort of goes back to what Shaq was asking earlier. They were having trouble with the B, the B. With that stroke, the second stroke of the B. So you basically turn that into drills. You can either drill this whole thing as one stroke, or you can break it down so you get used to this first oval. That's this one here. And then you have the second oval down here. You want to get from this first one into that second one. So you just sort of continue into your second oval. So that's kind of like a drill then at that point. And you can continue through that one. And then when you get that feeling comfortable and consistent, then you want to exit out into this horizontal exit oval. So you get used to having that motion in there until the whole thing can essentially be a drill. And then you can do it with shade, because you've gray shade society, because then the movement is natural and comfortable for you. That's the biggest thing. One of the biggest mistakes that I think a lot of penmen, a lot of students and whatnot make, and because sometimes the drills, if you're not sort of building up this muscle memory of moving, doing these like wicked fast ovals as you're like warming up. I do ovals like this really, really fast in my class, primarily to warm the arm up. I'm not going to be writing my oval that fast, so doing an oval that fast isn't going to help my writing. I want to have that nice smooth oval exactly like it's going to be in my writing. So let's say, for example, I was working on the capital Z or Z, and I wanted to do these two strokes all in one like that. Take the shade out. This is this nice smooth oval here. So I want that to be super comfortable. That's sort of step one. And then I have this little oval. I don't really worry about doing this little oval like this really fast. I go from this oval and then this lower oval here. And you see kind of the shape that is created by those two ovals overlapping. If you have fluidity and follow through, your hand will naturally create that little loop in the middle. If you're going from this one into this one, you can either stop, or if you have fluidity, you're gonna get that little oval in there. So then you're going from this large oval here to the lower oval here, be it whatever size you're doing them at. But that's just getting that fluidity of having that little loop in the middle. Not too big, not too small, but airy enough. Whoa. So you can get that going. So there's not, I wouldn't really say there's a point where you transition from drills to letter forms. You use the drills to warm up and then to get the ovals in your muscles so that they just sort of happen on their own. Because what happens, this is what I was saying earlier and I kind of got distracted a little bit, sorry. We'll do all these big ovals and warm-ups and all this kind of stuff, and then if we go and write like this, like, yes, that's a nice Z, but this oval didn't help me create that Z. That Z is drawn nice and slowly. This oval didn't help me there. The oval is to get my arms used to creating these shapes. If that makes sense. or like Fozzie said, if you have bad eyesight and you feel the shape of the letters more so than you're letting them, you can feel what the letter feels like. Like take a capital C, for example. We've done our horizontal entry ovals. These are direct horizontal ovals. Then we have a direct angled oval. Then we have another direct horizontal oval. So then now, if you've trained all those and they feel good and comfortable and fluid, you know what they feel like. Even if you're doing them slow, you know what they feel like. You know what an oval feels like. So you know for a C, you just go from one to the other, to the other. One to the other, to the other. So for me, the way I do that with movement writing is I build it up. I start with the horizontal one, and I go into the angled one, and I continue going. And then when that transition feels comfortable, then you add on the next one. I have a bad habit of making this ending oval here angled up a little bit, so that's one thing that I have to be cautious of. But yeah, essentially, autopilot is what you want, because if my hand, and my hand can't do them all exactly the way I want them to, obviously, none of us are perfect, but if I can rely on my hand to do those forms, then as I'm going, rather than thinking about the forms and the shapes, I can think about the random on-the-fly connections that I'm trying to make, which sometimes work and sometimes don't. Or I can focus on sort of my spacing or things like that as I'm going, because it happens so fast. If you're doing movement writing, I want as much of it to be autopilot as possible, so that I have less to think about. So I can think about the truly important things. Truly. It's not a very good R to U connection, but whatever. That one might look better done all as one stroke. Oops. Well, that was supposed to be a U, not a Y. But try. What about lowercase letters? So with lowercase letters, you don't have to go as fast as fluid movement. You can add a little bit more sort of combination movement and whatnot. So for lowercase letters, trying to think of some of the... I would dive into like business penmanship drills and stuff for lowercase letters. Because it's less... I don't want to misspeak here and say the wrong thing. For certain letters, like... I mean, really, when in the lowercase world, like we have our overturns and our underturns and whatnot, but those happen very naturally. Like, I mean, with repetition, we can do these, but I never really drill that as an exercise. I would do letters as the exercise, those connections. I'm not being very eloquent here. Push pulls are super helpful, like especially for your ascenders, say for example, your L's, your H's, your B's, and things like that. Getting this feeling nice and comfortable at, again, whatever speed. Getting a nice, so you're comfortable pulling and pushing a straight line on your slant line. Drills help you with consistency, so your whole sheet, all your downstrokes will be the same. If you're pulling with your fingers, then you're gonna have downstrokes that go sort of every which angle. But if you can really rely, even if you're using your fingers, if you can always keep, I kind of think of using my wrist more so. I'm not a fan of purely using fingers, because there's just too many variables and directions they can go. But when I do my push-pulls this way, my angle is gonna be that same thing all the time. And then you can get these squished ovals going on. And then you can do something like a bunch of straight push-pulls. And then throwing in that curved stroke afterwards. Or your oval, and you're comfortable doing this one, and you're just transitioning from this push-pull and then getting that curve. And that's essentially, you've made like a perfect ascender, basically. When it comes to the lowercase letters, I definitely live in the camp of find a business penmanship book that you like and copy it, basically. Tamblyn is one that I like to recommend. Fozzie just said it as well, because the way he speaks about the exercises is really great and very no nonsense, and he gives speeds like, do this letter and do it blah 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 amount in a minute or whatever. And then you just get used to like doing lines of O's, of little O's back to back, trying to keep them consistent, and you get used to that dash across the page. Yeah, Tamblyn is very much, he'll say, don't delude yourself into thinking that blah 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 will work. Do it the right way, do it this way, and so on. Weird connections there. If there was a penman that I could imagine giving me a hand slap for something, he's definitely one of them. I wonder who was the strictest teacher of them all. Curious. Tamblyn's exercises, some of them are pretty wicked fast. I mean, you have to remember, though, all those penmen back then, they all wrote pretty quickly. And it's not, I will say, this is my assumption, I don't think it means, like if I'm writing the word minimum, it doesn't mean that I'm rocketing through this word like super, super fast. Or, I mean, it's not about doing the whole thing fast, in my personal opinion. Business penmanship, you had to be quick, that was important. But for me, it's that the lines themselves are fluid. So I pick the spots where I want to stop, and I will do a smooth, so that motion is quick when I do that. And same with this one. And same with the movements themselves. Are quick. You can pause in the middle, collect yourself. When it comes to pausing and whatnot, I always default to the term, I like saying hide your crimes. I don't like to see that people stop and lift and whatnot. I feel like they lifted a lot more than we think they did, especially in ornamental penmanship, but business penmanship doesn't lift very much, so it depends specifically what style you're trying to get proficient at. But fluidity of movement is the important part, I think. Ooh. Why is that specifically, Colby, out of curiosity? Is his work your favorite? I mean, yeah, the pen maker, that makes sense, I guess. I mean, he wants to be helpful. I would never call him mean. He's no nonsense, rather. He was very awesome at flourishes, that's true. I think if I got my hand hit by any teacher back in the day, I'm guessing it would be for I have a habit of allowing my hand to, as I'm writing, it will relax off to the right. It doesn't often affect the writing itself, I don't think, but I could see a teacher at some point back in the day being rather unhappy with that, and fixing my knuckle up. It's usually knuckle up, but I tend to drift. Never all the way never all the way on the side of my hand, ever, but it does tend to drift over to the side, which I don't know if that's necessarily a super bad thing, but I could see getting dinged for it in their classes. It's possible. Oh, I could never do that to a student. They'd be traumatized. 50,000 people. Could you imagine having 50,000 students? And you correspond and give notes and whatnot of value to each of them? For sitting in Asian. Nice, Fuzzy. Oh, what was I gonna do here? What I had in my head. Doesn't work. I was gonna try to do an S and an I transition. But for some reason I had an idea that I thought was gonna be perfect. And it definitely is not. I would assume Ozzy sits with poor posture and feet not flat on the ground and all that stuff that all those teachers were very strict about. That's true, Colby. I mean, if he shows you a look of disappointment or just dagger eyes. How the heck can I connect an S and an I? I can't really, I guess. I guess I could do something like this. Oh, that's messy. That's not a good combination. Could it be if I made it better? Nah. That's not a very good execution, but I don't think I like the way it looks anyways. There we go. It's a good stroke. Nice and smooth. Smooth and smooth. No writing slopes for ornamental penmanship or Spencerian. What happened to that control I had a second ago? Come on. Relax. Nope. Yeah, writing on the slant board feels really strange for me. Like when I do broad pen scripts or whatnot, some of those ones that are done on a slant, feels very strange getting out or making a slant board and writing on a slant. I would assume if I had learned Spencerian initially on a slant, I could get used to it, but I don't think it's designed to be that way. Did they? Were the original desks slanted? A little bit? Maybe just a little bit, like a school desk slant. I don't know now. Do you have a favorite ornamental penmanship capital example, Colby? I personally recommend this one. This is my go-to. It's up for standard ornamental capitals. It's my favorite. And there's a few letter forms that he has a few that I think might be printed from some of the same plates, or some of the same, yeah, printing blocks. But he's swapped out letters here or there. Like some of them, like the E, for example, will be too exactly perfect to not be the same form from a different alphabet, but the B will be different or the C will be different. So I think they were reusing some of the blocks on certain letters but not others. So I kind of like to piece through a few of his alphabets to pick my favorites. That's basically it. I don't know if Lurker James is still here, but I know he's not a fan of capitals like these because they're boring. And I'll admit, they're lacking, call it life, excitement, style, we'll say. They don't have really any personal style. They are the standard capitals. So my thought has always been, if I practice those, and if I get good at those, then I can express and flourish and change on top of that. And then I'll have my expressive writing, I guess. But I see his as what I would consider the ideal forms, personally. A can be a doozy. I have a habit of letting my A shade go too long. There we go. Courtney's are quite nice. They are expressive. They're quite... His shades, I feel like, are a little bit longer. This is the thing that I don't hit very often. This top bit gets this like almost straight going into it, rather than, you can see this has the very slight, you can tell it came from an oval down here. It's ever so slight getting into that shade. I am a fan of that. Oh, what I wouldn't give to be in one of their classes and see if I would be a good student or a bad student. I have to imagine that if I was in a penmanship class, I'm still me at heart, so the slacker table still lives. If I'm in a school environment, I feel like I would be chilling out. Slacking. If I said I wouldn't be, I feel like I'm lying to myself. Whoops. Whoops, whoops, whoops. Why, Fuzzy? Because you talk to other people, or why would you be put to the back? Would you be a distraction? I would definitely be a distraction. I'm a distraction in every class I take. Because I like to heckle the teachers and things like that. Maybe a little too much. I'm not surprised. That's funny. Yeah, if there's one thing that teachers back in the day would be the most unhappy with students today, would be posture is probably one of the big ones. Yeah. Posture and speed. Posture and just movement, I think, would be, the teachers would go crazy teaching the current generation of calligraphers and penmen fixing our forms and positions of our body and whatnot. And I would be very open to hear their critiques. Ooh, my paper moved. Gave you twisters to shut you up, huh? Having fun is the most important part, I think. I think. I'm gonna clean my nib here, and while I do, I'm gonna run another ad, cause why not? Ad time, go. I don't know how long ads take. I wish there was like a bar, like a progress bar, that told me how the ads were going. Because I'm currently talking and I don't know if anybody can hear me, if anybody knows what I'm saying, or if I'm just talking to myself. I have powers! You pay to not get ads. Smart. Bah. Dang. Ah. Finger caught on my page here. On my glide sheet. Coffee time. Nice. I didn't make tea today. I had tea not long before the stream, so I opted out of tea for the actual stream today. Ah. Don't drink coffee if you're writing. It's not gonna do you good. Coffee is not your friend. Oof, not very smooth. Need to fill that. This S needs lip filler right there. Botox and lip filler. That's a little better. Don't worry, there are many penmen who drink coffee. Fozzie, case in point. Ooh. Do you have a singing nib, Colby? That's fun. Got a bad habit of coming out of that oval, not super ovally, but getting more of a, not pointed, but slightly pointed shape. Oh, my cheek is itchy. Why is my cheek itchy? Job. Itchy job. Oh, there you go. Your nib just wanted to express itself. It needed to sing. Needed to shout out loud. I still don't know a good way. Can't remember if we figured out a good way during our connecting the alphabet sessions. The S into the I. It just doesn't work really well. Well, unless I leave like a space on the, if they're not actually connected, but I leave a space on the S, I don't connect the S in the middle, but I do something like this. Experiment. I do something like that, which looks bad because I didn't connect through here. But then if the I... Nope. Fail. I think there was merit to what I was saying, but I just didn't execute it properly. Oh, maybe if the S just stops then. I mean, that could look worse. This is too long of an oval, but... Oh yeah, and if that cut through there, then that wouldn't look good. Bah. Oh, if it cut through there, though... There's potential there. Working through things is one of my favorite things ever. That's like when I design... That's why I like doing this type of work so much. When I'm designing these type of signatures. Working through to balance out these connections. I've designed one of these live on stream for people before, and I believe that stream was like 3 hours long. One of these takes me at least an hour and a half to 3 hours to sort of work out an idea out. I know they just look like just a nice clean design, but to get them shaped and formed and balanced the way I want, they take a long time. And it's the whole process is me just sort of thinking, what if I did this? What if I did this? That won't work. What if I do this? How do I make this work? And trying to explore options. So on the other side of the coin, I want to be able to do, obviously I can't do them like that. They're never going to be that clean. But I like trying to come up with ideas on the fly as much as I can. Okay, so how did we do this? I just need to have them be really close together. Something like that. Doesn't look great. That is, you couldn't have said it better. Yes, exactly. I mean, half of when it comes to those finished designs, half of the time is just, once the design is set, it's just refining the ovals and whatnot, because, and I've said this on stream many times, but like, fractions of millimeters make a difference when I'm pushing a line out or bringing it in to get the ovals or the circles. I tend to design much more circular than I do ovoid. Sometimes there's ovals obviously, but I like things quite round when I design stuff. And to get those looking exactly like I want, I wish I could do them perfect out of my pen, but I cannot. So I refine them and clean them up. So that's a lot of the time. I feel like I've been heavy-handed at certain points tonight. A little bit. Oof. That's a problem. Okay, so we can go from the H into the E like that, no problem, but then how do we get from the E into the A? Curious if this will make the A look ugly. Yeah, it doesn't work. That would totally work for like a W or something. But not for an A. Alright, Colby, thanks a lot for hanging out. We'll see you soon, man. Sweet dreams. Nope. Curious. Nope, that's what we did the first time. Classic solution to that issue is just making the exit of the E really big, which forces it out of the way. No, I still don't like that, because I want this to go like over here. I still don't think I like the way that works. Messy. Oh. Curious. Well, that was rather lucky. I mean, that's what I was going for. It's a pretty hard connection to fake. I don't think I'd be able to do that one with very much consistency. Yeah. Could be cool though if you could hit it all the time. Wouldn't it be better if I cut the E off sooner? Almost like that. I think it's a little easier to fake that spot. I'm overthinking coming out of the A though when I do that. Well, hello. Long time no see, Lewis. How you doing? Sorry that you lost your sleep. Oh, it'd be great if I could fake that. Would be very cool. Oh, how do you get from the V into things? I never really think about that one. Yikes. I never go from the V into other letters very often. Why? I mean, I obviously have in the past, but this feels like I've never done this before. That's weird. But it works. Strange. How the heck do you get from the V into things? That works, I guess. Curious. Yeah, the V's a tricky one to make look right. You could do it like a lowercase, I'm pretty sure, and get away with it, and it wouldn't look like a U. Maybe? Just stuck on VE for a sec here to see if I can make this work. Yeah, that would definitely get the job. Whoops. That would work. I don't know that I like it, but it works. Yeah. I guess the issue when I look at it, when I think of like a V comes out of the shade, oh, ugly shape, and it has the like compound curve shape. Whereas if it doesn't have that, like if it goes like this and it's just an undercurve, then even if it ends up here, like it's a V, but it still, to me, feels like a U because it has that undercurve instead of the compound curve going up. Can I compound curve? Oh yeah, and do a loop up there? It doesn't really help me get into an E though. No, that makes the E too tall. An interesting challenge. I mean, I'm happy with that, but it is busy. Or we do the little shark fin thingy. Very unusual connection for getting to the realm of creative. Let me get this little wave in the middle. I don't know if I like that, but it does work. Oh, that could actually be one of those, potentially. Ooh, I like that. I'm not mad at that. It's an ugly E that I did, but that's just a neat style. Stylistic. It's an ugly V, but I think I like that connection. It's got style. Especially if we give this like a similar... Interesting. JMC. JMC. Tiny lowercase. Tiny capitals. In comparison to the J. Tiny little M. So that the stem works. Oh, that's funny. But if we need to get a little higher than that for the M, easy to give an extra loop in there to give us space. Kind of a messy one. Lower uppercase. I mean, that's basically when I do note-taking and stuff. That's pretty much... Oh, I guess I would have been capitalized, but that's... I always make my capitals bigger, even though I write in all capitals. You could do the capital letters that has the syllable, that's true. I feel like that'd be easier than going from into a capital to a capital, because capitals to lowercase letters to capitals are usually not as challenging, because lowercase letters have much simpler exits out of them. So it's when I think if there's a cleaner, I mean there is a cleaner way to get out of this J. Oh, what am I thinking? J. Could also do something like go all the way around the top and make the M massive, potentially. That's the idea, but not executed the best. Let me try to do one a little smaller. Getting out of control with the size. Something like that works as well. Oh, I write in all caps very, very fast. Getting ideas down and stuff, I find much easier with capital letters than when I'm doing actual penmanship. When I'm doing cursive or penmanship, or when I do handwriting, I get bogged down with the making it pretty and making it clean and precise, and it takes up way too much horizontal space as well for my note-taking. You have to be pretty darn good to do two matching P's. Doing that way, that would be tough. Fun. In Canada, most places here, I believe it's still taught. It's not enforced, but kids learn it in school. Still. I don't know that they learn good penmanship, but they learn some penmanship. I've said it before on the stream, where I live in, or I fall in the camp where I feel like penmanship can transition into, instead of language arts, instead of English class, or instead of writing, I think it could be taught as part of art. It's history. It could be taught as history, or it could be taught as art. I feel like teach it at art, and then the kids can learn it. It gets rid of the argument of we don't need this because it's art. And you can argue we don't need any art. Kids learn how to play the recorder and learn how to play a glockenspiel or a xylophone. At least I did when I was in elementary school. That's as important as learning cursive, I feel like. It can be expressive, it's movement, it's flowy. I personally think there are benefits to learning cursive before printing, developmentally in children, muscles and whatnot. Coming from my dancer side of my brain makes me think that. But having that argument with a teacher or somebody that is in school and whatnot is never fun, because it's just a hard argument to win. So I've given up trying to win it, and rather than fight to get penmanship taught in schools, in an English class or in a language arts class, I personally say, forget it. Teach it in art. It's an art class. It's an art. Let it be an art style. It's like doing typography. That's something you can learn in an art style, in an art class. Calligraphy, art. Penmanship, art. Cursive, let it be art. Even though it's not expressly art, let it live in the art world, I feel like. I could be wrong, but I feel like there's just less arguments that way. That's the thing, it is a whole different thing. And there's a lot of arguments to, like, kids don't need this, they're all on the keyboards and they don't need it. And for certain aspects of academia, they're not wrong. It's not necessary. Which is why I say I think it's necessary in other avenues of life and learning and whatnot. But we're never gonna... I don't feel like it's an argument we're ever gonna win. I think it's always a losing battle. So my thought is, well, teach it as art. And then it's not a losing battle, it's just part of art. You want to learn to paint? You want to learn to write? You want to learn to do all those things? Art. Done. Let it live there. Then all the art teachers have to learn cursive, that's the only problem. Calligraphy class would be cool. I did calligraphy in school, but it was of my own. It wasn't actually in school. It was my own. I practiced calligraphy at home. And I remember, I think I've talked about this on the stream before. In English class in grade, I think it was grade 9? Grade 8 or 9 in junior high school. And I had to do, it was a story, and I was shipwrecked. I was marooned on an island, basically. And me and a friend of mine wrote these stories, and we got this old paper our story was written on. We coffee stained our paper and burnt the edges and stuff because we were castaways on an island. and somehow didn't clue in. I mean, we had calligraphy pens. Somehow this castaway had calligraphy, or they created their own ink and wrote with a stick, basically, which can broad pen. That can happen. But I did my calligraphy in that regard. But the calligraphy itself was never taught in school, but I learned it as an artistic hobby when I was younger. So, let penmanship be that as well. Let it just be an artistic hobby. Maybe. Exactly. Quill pen. Totally. Anyways, everybody, I think I'm done for the night. I am on the tired side, and my back is a little sore tonight. I don't know. I was hunched over doing the clear coat on these boards the past couple days, and my back is a little on the sore side. Calligraphy's never gonna disappear. It'll disappear from schools, but it'll never disappear. If calligraphy was gonna disappear, we wouldn't have calligraphers with thousands of followers, and we wouldn't, I mean, because it is expressive and it's beautiful. So especially in the world we live in now, where there's, I mean, if you have a following, or with social media and stuff, there are people who make carpets, there are people who make street signs that are now super popular. So calligraphy, it's just another one of the things that you can do as you're going through your art life. It's never gonna go away, I don't think. Yeah, I got the seam out to most of it anyways. It can still be seen a little bit, but not, I mean, that's actually on this one. But you can't see where the seam is anymore. I put it in place, nice and smooth and flat. Quite happy with it. Anyways, oh! I forgot to spin my spinning top. Stream is over. But I spin my spinning top anyways. Is that even on, that's in frame, right? Yeah. Forgot to spin that before we started. Gotta get in the habit of doing that again since it can be seen. Anyways, like I said, I'm done for the night. I'm gonna take it easy. Make myself some green tea, I think, before I go to bed. But thank you very much for hanging out with me today, everybody. We will not be here for, I believe, the next 2 weeks. We're gonna be missing. Next week, I'm gonna be busy. Then the week after that is gonna be IAMPITH. Maybe I'll do something while I'm at IAMPITH. Maybe I can set up something when we're going on a convention. I'm not sure. If not here, maybe on the Discord. I don't know. We'll try to get something going. But again, thank you very much for hanging out with me today, everybody. This was a fun one. Some fun, interesting combinations in Playtime today. Make sure that you are falling in love with the process. And don't forget that life should be just a bit of silliness, really. Good night, everybody. End stream.